Let's be honest, if you grew up using an alphabet, looking at Chinese characters can feel, well, a little overwhelming. It seems like this impossible wall of symbols you could never, ever climb. But what if I told you there's a system, a real method to the madness? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it's done, right from the beginning. And we have to start with the most basic human question of all. Is it really as hard for the kids who grow up with this as it looks to the rest of us? I mean, do they struggle? Do they actually cry over this stuff? The answer is a big, fat yes. And I just love this quote because it's so real. You can just feel the kid-level drama. It captures that universal feeling of being totally buried in homework. So yeah, the struggle is real, but it's a struggle that basically everyone gets through, all thanks to a very structured system. Okay, so first things first, let's get a sense of the scale here. Just how big is this great wall of characters that kids have to climb? Well, the journey starts pretty early. By the end of first grade, so we're talking about 7-year-olds, a kid is expected to be able to write 100 simple characters totally from memory. The basic building blocks, like the words for one, person, or big. Seems manageable, right? A nice, gentle on-ramp. But then, by the time they finish primary school, around age 12, that number just explodes. We're talking 2,500 characters. And that's the magic number you need to be able to read newspapers, magazines, pretty much any normal book. So, how in the world did they make that jump? This is where the whole system starts to show you how clever it really is.
And honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. It really is like a role-playing game. You start out with these simple little quests, you learn the basic skills, and then as you level up, the challenges get harder, more complex. You're always using what you just learned to take on the next, bigger, badder character.
So, how do you even begin to connect all these complex symbols with the sounds they're supposed to make? Well, you don't get thrown into the deep end. There's this brilliant system that acts just like training wheels for reading.
It's called Pinyin. Now, a lot of people think this is just a tool for foreigners learning Chinese, but that's not the case at all. It's actually a fundamental tool that every native-speaking kid uses. It's the bridge that connects the familiar Latin alphabet with the thousands of characters they need to learn.
And this slide right here shows you exactly how those training wheels slowly come off. In first grade, you get full support. Every single character has its pinyin sound written right on top. By third grade, it's only there for new or tricky words. And then, by sixth grade, they're gone. The characters are standing all on their own because by then, the kid is a fluent, independent reader.
Okay, so that covers reading. But what about actually writing these things? Well, that is a whole other beast. It's a physical skill, almost like an art form, that mixes pure memory with actual muscle.
And listen, there is no magic shortcut here. Not at all. The foundation is just pure brute force practice. Every kid in China is familiar with these special grid-lined notebooks where you write the same character over and over and over again, filling up pages until it's just burned into your hand.
And all through this painful but necessary process, they're getting some, let's call it, colorful feedback. This is a classic line from a parent, and it just perfectly shows you how high the standards are. It's not enough to just remember the character, you have to write it beautifully too. No chicken feed allowed.
That's because you can't just draw these things however you want. It's not freestyle. There is a very precise, non-negotiable order for every single stroke in every single character, and these rules make sure the character is balanced, easy to read, and has a certain flow. Breaking the rules is a big no-no.
And this is a perfect example of one of those rules in action, inside before enclosing. Take the character for return. You don't just draw a big box and then put a little box inside it. Nope. You draw the left, top, and right sides of the outer box, then you draw the little box on the inside, and only at the very end do you draw the bottom line to close the whole thing up. It feels weird at first, but it's the only right way to do it. So, to make all this memorization a little less painful, teachers and parents use these clever little tricks, these stories. They break a complex character down into its simpler parts and then invent a story to connect them. So, for example, the character for fairy is made up of the symbol for person and the symbol for mountain. And the story they tell is, a person who lives way up on a mountain? Well, they must be a fairy. It's a simple little hook that makes it stick in your brain.
So, after all of this intense, painstaking work to master writing by hand, what happens when the 21st century crashes the party with keyboards and touchscreens? Well, this is where things get really, really interesting.
For generations, the ultimate test of your skill was dictation. Picture it. You're in the classroom.
The teacher says a word, and you have to write the character perfectly from nothing but memory. And if you make a mistake, your punishment is, you guessed it, writing that character correctly 20 or 50 more times. It's the ultimate test of pure recall.
But in our digital world, a really strange new problem has popped up. See, when people type, they just enter the Pinyin sound, and a list of characters appears. You just select the one you want. This means you only have to recognize the character. You don't have to recall how to write it from scratch. The result? Something called character amnesia. People can read just fine, but if you ask them to write a pretty common character by hand, they might just freeze up. That hard-earned muscle memory is starting to fade away.
And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question. This character amnesia thing isn't just some weird side effect of tech, it sparked a real cultural debate. You have this skill that's been at the heart of a civilization for thousands of years. So, is the convenience of typing with our thumbs worth losing that heritage? In an age of keyboards and autocorrect, is the beautiful, difficult art of writing by hand something we should fight to save?